My birthday recap is awesome to share with a twin I was in the womb with. Shawanda was pulled out of my mom's stomach at 10 o'clock and I was pulled out at 10:01. Backup plan then that we go to Washington, D.C. I noticed that my bag was like completely empty. In my bag was a wallet. My wallet was gone. And I was like, I don't have my wallet. Zip up your shit. Wow, what a birthday. What a birthday. Hi. Hello. This is I'm Just Sharing with Shawanda. I'm Shawanda. Welcome back. I am very sorry about last week. There was no post last week, but that's okay. We're moving on to this week. We move on as life goes on. Because life is life. And I just wanted to say that this is just going to be my birthday recap, you guys. You're looking at a 27-year-old. How do we look? I look great. It's like, I'm just kidding. No. I'm lit though. Like, just to think back about years and where I was a long time ago, and relationships as they fell off, and then some progressed, and then some fell off, and then regrouping, all that good jazz. That's all I have to say about that. I'm happy to be 27. I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to be back into getting into my podcast, because like this is like huge to me. I was very down that I did not get to post. Like, I was so upset with myself. So I have plans to do better, be better, all that good jazz. Preparation. That's all. But I would say, as you see with the title, I'm just going to go off with my birthday recap. It was an amazing birthday, and I get to share it. It's awesome to share with a twin, somebody to share with. I was in the womb with, and that was so funny because all I kept saying to her was like, "Oh, yeah, we shared the womb together." Like, and she came and spent the night, and it was just wow. I said, just like in the womb, like we were linked, man. It's just wild to me. Shawanda was pulled out of my mom's stomach at 10 o'clock and I was pulled out at 10:01. So I never ever want to count that minute as something, but it is, so 1 minute apart from that, girl. Shout out to you on again. But just beginning with our birthday and us getting ready, we were on live and we were just dancing. It's so weird. We can listen to anybody, but Beyonce is just a vibe. Like, everybody knows she is. Like, she's just such a queen, and we were just listening to all her music and just vibing out and getting ready to go. So the whole plan was that we were going to have tickets, that we were going to go to New York. The plan was New York first. And we were going to get tickets, see a couple museums, and just walk around and just be in New York. It's a lot of things to do in New York, but one of them I wanted to go to Summit One, and Summit One is just like the huge skyscraper, and that you get to, I think tickets were actually $56. You get like a mocktail or any drink as you go up on different floors, but there's immersive experience that you can have with the certain floors, and then when you get to the top floor, you just see all of New York and its beauty and all that, which was surprising to me too, that when looking at the tickets and the ones who were sold out, they were like morning. I'm like, I don't think people appreciate the nighttime. I mean, I guess to New Yorkers who live in New York, it's like a everyday thing. They know what the city lights look like, but I'm like, I want to see it. So nighttime was just going to be the whole gist. We were going to go get some food and dinners at some cool places that people always recommend on TikTok, and it was a thing. So as we were getting ready, or as Shawanda was getting ready, I was just looking at stuff. I was like halfway ready, but I was like looking at getting train tickets, because we weren't driving. I was like, I'm not driving 3 hours again, because I drove to New York before to go see Jared Brady on concert. And that was a cool drive, like, to go see him. But I was like, I don't want to do this again. Let's take the train. So we agreed on the train. So We were looking at the train prices and all that good jazz. It was like $103 for coach, which was cool. And I'm like, all right, yeah, nice. And, you know, Baltimore to New York. I'm thinking that this is like a whole round thing, you know, $103. No, Baltimore to New York is $103. From New York back to Baltimore, it's going to be $123. I don't know why the price just shot up there, but I'm like, oh, hell. Never mind on this, Shawanda. We're not going to New York. New York will always be there. That will be another day thing. That's all right. We'll skip on that bad boy. That's okay. Which sucked. I'm glad I didn't purchase tickets. To Summit 1. But it's just mind-blowing to me. Backup plan then, that we go to Washington, D.C., and that we were going to go and start off our day at the Spy Museum. So we went to the Spy Museum. And it was just cool, like, starting off. It was so funny because, like, as the tour started, like we got the tour, we got to go with like a group of people. Like we started off in a group, but then everybody like broke off. But we started off in the group, and we were waiting. You get assigned a little badge. You get a code name. I forgot Shawanda's code name. I think my code name was Night something. Night something. But it was cool. And it was so funny because like when the doors opened, it started off with this like little red light that slowly like opened up to the red light, and I was like, oh snap, and I rolled on the floor into the room. Everybody started laughing because I was just like, it's just wild. It's just wild because it's like, oh, spy shit, you know. I love action movies, and spy movies are like awesome. So we go inside, and you start off like watching a film, and it's just wild to me on they're spies exist. Like, I mean, they do. It's just wild to me to like really like solidify that they're spies that go like way in the back history or whatever. So after you watch the movie, then you go into the room, and then it's just starting off with people, you know, going back to black people, and then Russians, and it just slowly goes off. They also like spoke on like the Gaza, Israel, like it's just way back history that goes way back. It's just wild to me on what spies do, what they did, the equipment that they used, and how like it evolved into like what it is now. It's so wild to me. And then like as you go throughout the museum, like you also like stop at these little stations that you get to do, that you get like information on your person and what you need to remember. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I have to remember that my person, like something about oranges. It was just cool the way how the stations were built. And just going through history of like spies and listening on like people's lives being in danger, but it's all for their country, it's all for the people, and it always goes back to the country or the people that you know you're serving. We have to do what's right for us, and even though this is some sneaky shit, I have to do what I need to do to get the information and get out. So sorry, that's just what's wild to me about this whole spy museum, because like the history that just went back when I just wasn't expecting. But it was cool. It was cool to learn about it. So as we went through, there was this like thing, the little pole, like you hang on to the pole, and like you have to see like how long that you hold on to it. Now this bad boy was slippery. I was like, I think I need to start off with some powder. They didn't have powder. The dude just wiped out the pole and just like see how long you can like hold on. Shawanda held on for like, I think about 5 seconds. I said, dang, we wouldn't survive off of a building. Like, this isn't it. I hung on for like 4 seconds just because the way I held on. I held on like off of Rush Hour with Jackie Chan hanging on to the pole with 2 hands like this. So I started like hold on like that. Didn't even do me any justice. I was like, this shit is slippery. Like, this really is a little tough. Because even as if you hold it like this, I'm sorry if you see on YouTube, it's just spread out just like this. It was still tough to hold. Like, that bad boy was like wildly not slippery, But like as your hand go, and it's so weird because I said as soon as you say that you're gonna do it, your hand starts sweating anyway. Like I was just like, my hand started sweating as soon as I said I'm gonna try it. So I started wiping off my palms. Shawanda did hers. I was second. I was like, oh, this don't. She liked my whole tactic that I was doing the Jackie Chan thing, but it just didn't work out. I didn't stay on there but for like 4 seconds. I said, that's like sad. I wanted to do it again, but people were around and whatnot. And just also, there was this room that also like showed the movies and the different movies that, you know, not based on real, some things based on true events, but then there's just other spy movies because they talk about the gadgets that were in it. There was this game thing that you get to pull like a detonator out without touching the sides. And I think you had 15 seconds to get it. So it was wild to me because it said, the dude was like, just don't focus on the time. Like it seemed like that was a trick. Don't focus on the time. Focus on like what you're pulling up. And it was like magnet sort of. So like as you pulled up, it seemed pretty light, a little heavy, but it was still light as you went up. But then as you went up, it moves at the bottom. So like mine moved. I was so close. I swear to goodness, I was so close. But when you touch the sides, it did like this sound. So I was like, dang, didn't make it. Shawanda tried it. She didn't make it. It was another dude that just kept going before us. And he didn't make it. But it was just wild to me how like you start off with feeling so confident that you can do this, but as time goes, like I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta save the world. I have to save this before this detonator goes off. But then you hit the side and be like, damn, I killed everybody. I killed everyone. But I don't know, it was such a good time just being in that. And we asked the girl to take a picture of us, and she did. I'll probably like post it on the side here. It was just a good time. And then daylight saving times, you know, it got dark early or whatever, so that was cool. We had Charlie's before we went to the Spy Museum, so it was cool having Charlie's. Afterwards, you know, after the Spy Museum, we went to the pencil. I said I was going to do my research before I got on here, but we went to the pencil where Spider-Man was at. And walking towards that, like we were parked a long way. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. But as we got closer, I'm like, yo, this thing is like massive. This thing is huge. This thing is tall. And all you just do is like look up, like what? Like wild. It's like building this just wild. Seeing how thick the bricks are. I said, Shawanda, like wild. And I'm watching Scandal now. I picked up Scandal. So, like, being in that, I'm like, you know, Olivia Pope and Associations was here. Pretty sure Kerry Washington did show up in there. I'm pretty sure everybody at least showed up in Maryland. We're here. Yeah, no. I did see some green screen places, but I'm like, I was just so taken away that I'm like, even though it wasn't shot here, Scandal was just based off in this area, so that's pretty cool. So we parked at a good parking spot. We were right in the middle, so we were right where the pencil was, and then we saw Abraham. I said, I want to go to Abraham. We gotta go to him. Gotta go see Abraham, my man's. And it was just wild. He's not my man's. It's a different relationship, but he cool. So as we were walking, before we hit the water towards him, I never know what that place is called, but before we hit the water, there was this place where it showed all the states' names and lit up. And we walked inside and it was just like amazing. I was like, oh, shoot, you can like, and it was cold. We didn't dip our feet in there, but it was crazy that we just seen a sign that said that, you know, you can like dip your feet in there, just don't walk in it. I'm like, wow, it's wild that you can. Cool for the kids, very immersive experience. But I was like, all right, let's keep walking down. So I just started walking to the path within the middle of that water thing. I said, it's just wild to me, and just think about like ancestors and thinking about Martin Luther King's era and like people here and having a reason and passion and strong feeling to fight for something that we knew what was right. I love being black. And it was just, it's just really crazy to me that was just an era that is just like, we are all going to march together for us to be equal. it was just wild to just like, I said, wow, like this is just wild to me. So many powerful people, even as a regular person, still powerful in that day and just walking for a cause. And it was just, it was amazing. So then we hit up Abraham, like seeing this dude, and I'm like, whoa, wow. Like we've been to Washington D.C. as children, and my uncle has like pictures of us being in that area, but it's just so long ago, and I was just like, all right, don't really remember it. But then I was like, okay, a lot of steps. All right, let's walk up. And the reading was really nice, around on the ground, but then also like being around him and on the sides, his proclamation. But seeing this man and the way how he sit was just like a powerful like pose. Like if I had to do it, like if you see me on YouTube, it's just wow, his foot was out there, and him, it's such a mild facial expression, but the pose that he made was just so in it. That man, what a dude. I'm like, yo, this was just a regular dude that saw everybody to be treated fairly and fought. And I was just like, shout out to you, Abraham Lincoln. Shout out to that man. But it's just wild. There's so many other people who deserve to have like a statue for him, but he's cool. He's that. It was just cool reading on both sides, and it was so wild because I was reading out loud, so it was people that was like around me listening to me read. They were probably reading on their own, but it's just like, all right, this girl reading, I'll just follow along with her. I stumbled on certain words, but I'm like, I wasn't worried about what other people were thinking about. I was just like, I just wanted to read this out loud because I'm like, I take things in when I read it out loud anyway. So we went on the left side, and we saw like on the left side there was like this door that was open, and I was like, can we go in there? Like it seemed like we can, but I don't know. Let's walk. So we started walking, and nobody was heading in this direction. Nobody was there. So it was just me and Shawanda, and we saw this like elevator, and it's like, it seemed like pretty old school-y. So we pressed the button. We were just waiting for the elevator, and then it came up, and I was like, maybe I should go first, because then if I don't go, you got my phone, you can like call somebody to be like, she's stuck down there or something, wherever it was going. I don't know. So then I was like, do you want to go? I should go. Maybe we can go together. But then we like stuck, but we do have phones, but it's underground. It was so many things that was like popping in our head. Then the elevator closed, and then I was like, shoot. And then we pressed the button, and we didn't hear anything. I said, well, we missed our opportunity. We saved our lives. We cool. We're cool. We're all right. And then we heard the elevator moving. I was like, all right. And then there was a woman that walked into the same room that we were in. And I was like, okay, I guess like everybody is here. I guess she's just waiting for us. I mean, I don't know. Then we saw people come out of the elevator when it finally came up. And I was like, oh, okay, so this seems like a safe place. It's cool. We're good. And me and Shawanda went in, and the lady was also in the elevator with us, and we were just talking about like how old school it is and how like old timey that they keep it to be. And I was like, I wonder how old this elevator is. Not saying it's gonna like stop or anything. That's how it was. But just in it and like being down underneath, seeing that they talked about like the architect on the walls, the structure of it and how it was built. I forgot the guy's name, Charles something. He was actually elected, the person who actually built and had the architect of it. Sorry, words. But he was chosen to do that before our birthday. He was elected to do that on December 8th. And I was like, oh, wow, a day before our birthday, and we're here now. And it's like, wow. Then we saw like pictures of like Martin Luther King and the people that was just standing all around in that picture that was taken. And I was like, wow, we were just standing right there in that area. We were just right there. And it was like really cool. And then there's like a little exit place on the side that you would never expect to be. And I'm like, oh, we could have just walked on the side right here. We would have been in here. Like, wow. But okay, it was a cool experience just starting up and then working our way down and out where we started at. So like that was cool. It was a really good time. So then after we walked back to where, because we wanted to go to, I said, well, I want to go to the White House. It's not the White House. The next place is the Capitol. So we ended up like walking toward the Pencil. Before we started walking to the Pencil, there was like the place that had like the states in it. That's where we were back at. And we saw Maryland. And I was like, oh snap, we should take a picture right here. And there was like somebody behind us. We asked them if they could like take our picture of me and Shawanda, and we did. And then I was putting my phone, my keys fell, because we started walking again and my keys fell. I'm like, oh snap, my keys fell. Picked up my keys, put it in my bag, but then I noticed that my bag was like completely empty. In my bag was a wallet. My wallet was gone. And I was like, I don't have my wallet. She's like, what? And I was like, my wallet's not in my bag. And then she's like, come on. And we just started walking, and I'm glad that it was dark. But we started walking, we had my phone thing, and I was like, oh man. And in my head, I'm like, I gotta replace all this. If I don't find my wallet, I gotta replace everything in there. This is probably gonna ruin the whole trip. Like we still had some things to do after, dinner stuff. Like I was just like, I don't have anything. So then we're walking, we have our lights on just on the floor. We had to like walk. We were like right in the middle. So my wallet ended up falling like where the water was, but like right in the middle of that. So we had to walk back towards Abraham. We were like right in the middle where he was, if that makes sense. Ended up falling the wallet, and then she was like, zip up your shit. And I'm like, okay, all right, my fault. And she's just like, yeah, just make sure that you got it. It's a zipper. And she put the light on me as I'm like putting stuff in there. I'm like, yeah, everything's zippered up. She's like, all right, let's go. And then as we started walking, we started talking again. And then I just said it again. I'm like, almost lost my wallet. And she's just like, yeah, almost lost your wallet. But yeah, you didn't. So it was cool. So we ended up walking towards the Pencil. And then it was just like a long trek before we saw scooters. So we ended up getting the scooters and just working our way towards the Capitol. Yes, the Capitol was first. And again, people don't care. People do not care about scooters. Like usually, I think when me and Shawanda was walking before we got to the scooters, there was somebody who was on a scooter or a bike. They have a light on there that automatically lights up when you're on it. And I seen it, so I just started moving towards the side. I would grab her, move towards the side so the person can keep going. But other people, when me and my sister was on there, they just don't move. I'm like, all right, you just want to get hit. So I'm doing a little ding, 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 ding to your left, like to your left, like, or move to your left. I would say something like that. They just didn't get it. And they look at us like we're the problem. I'm like, you're in my way. I have a motor. I'm going faster than you. Get out the way. It was whatever. So as we were on our way, of course, bumps, like we were trying to avoid, I was trying to avoid a bumpy place because, I've been terrified and traumatized by scooters. I was like, all right, this is just what we're going to have to do. It wasn't too bad, just a little bit small gravel that we made our way through. As we were going, I put my phone on the inside pocket of my coat. The inside pocket of my coat was pretty deep, but it didn't have like a zipper on the inside. I didn't think I had to zipper it. So Shawanda was like a little bit behind me and I was in front of her, and she said, Shawanda, your phone. Like she just saw it fall, and she was like, damn, zipper up your shit. And I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. I'll put it on the inside. I'll put it on the outside pocket and zipper that up. It's okay. I'll do it. And I did it. We made our way to the Capitol, and just like seeing, I was like, wow, like so many rooms in there. I'm wondering like how big it is, what's inside, whatever. And then I just thought, I was like, yo, people were in the Capitol. People raided the Capitol, which is very wild to me because seeing this place, it seems so secured, so many gates, police officers there. And it's just like, seems so secure. But on that day, it's just wild to me that just people got that close inside, actually. Not even that close. They went inside and just raided this whole place. And it's just like wild to me. So wild. After the Capitol, we ended up going towards the White House. And with the White House, again, it seemed like when I was younger, because I do remember the picture, it just seemed like I was like right there at the gate, so close. But there is the White House, there's the gate, then there's another gate, and then like a little barrier thing with people. So it's just like, oh wow, we weren't close at all. It seems very underwhelming. But hey, the president might be in there. There's a lot of officials in there, so they're cool. Shout out to them. And then after seeing it, I was like, all right, let's get food because I'm hungry. So we started walking, and it was so funny because we saw Secret Service. I said, this is the perfect time. I have to ask questions about the Secret Service people, because it said Secret Service. I said, all right, so have you stood next to a higher official and stuff? They was like, we stood next to high people, not close to the president, but they were close. I said, all right, that's cool. So like, is there a B613? Is there a section that I need to know? He said, I don't know. I said, you seen Scandal? He's like, I know of it, but haven't watched it. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Then we started asking, and I said, is it wild? Like, so I asked if there was like a position above where you were, if not just Secret Service. Is there something above that you can go to? Or if you had to step down, what would you do? He said, just be police officer in my state or something like that. And I'm like, all right, cool. I said, so it's just wild to me that like, you accepted to take a bullet for somebody that you don't know. And then I was like, oh shit. I said, but that means you would take a bullet for me. Thanks. Appreciate you. Shout out to you, man. Hashtag Secret Service. Hashtag Secret Service. But it was cool. We had like a nice conversation with those two guys. They were awesome sauce. And then we ended to go to like, I researched this place on like TikTok. It was a restaurant on TikTok that was like really, really cool. And it was nice, but we didn't reserve a table. And it was going to be about like a hour wait. And this place did have a bar, but it seemed so congested that the people who did have tables were like right there. The bar was like right next. It was just all in one place. And they had an upstairs that was also people at tables, and then the bar right there. So it's people standing up, people sitting down. I was just like, yeah, this is just too much. We'll go. So we ended up like walking back towards the Pinto, getting in towards my car, and then we ended up going to like another place that was a little bit closer. Afterwards, I would say we ended up like walking around the corner to the restaurant, which is fine because I parked a little bit closer. And they said, it's going to be about like 45 minutes to an hour wait for a table, but there's 3 bars in this restaurant. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we ended up walking towards like the first bar. Luckily, there was like this woman who was like leaving out, who saw us, and she said, there's 2 seats that just opened up at the bar right at the end. And I was like, oh, well, thanks. Like we hopped on it real fast. So it was real cool. We met a guy. Our server was Bo, who was awesome sauce. I love when bartenders work. It seems so fast, but they're going at their pace, because people are going to get their drinks. Like, take my time, but I am like doing it at my pace. I never want to see it as them rushing. They're just doing it at their pace, which is fast. So it was nice. Shawanda ended up getting like a steak and spinach and something else. It was really good. She let me try it, and I ended up getting a crab cake and fries, which is cool too. And it was funny because we ended up talking to these 2 older guys, which is very funny because he saw us. He said, yeah, like we're sitting next to these hot girls. And then like after we finished eating, we ended up talking to them, and I said, you still use hot? Like I was like, how old are we? I don't see it, because usually like when there's older guys, there's like these beautiful ladies right here, these gorgeous women sitting next to us with these hot girls over here. I was like, oh man, these guys. But we had a nice conversation with them. It was really cool hanging out with them. We had some wine, some drinks, and then it was just time to go home. And then we went home and just chilled out. And I was like, wow, what a birthday. It was really cool. It seems so like before, thinking about ages before, all my different ages. And just seeing how party scene and hanging out with and just partying. But I'm like, nah, it'd be cool to just have like a laid back birthday and sightsee and go to Washington, D.C., different places. Like, it just seems pretty cool. So traveling is definitely on my list for not just birthdays, but just traveling when I can. So that was nice. That was my birthday recap. So moving on to my random thought. That was my think piece for my birthday. My random thought was towards couches. Couch shopping and apartment shopping. I'm looking at couches, and I went into I didn't go to Ashley's, but I should go to Ashley's like later on down the road. But going into Sofa World or Sofa King, something, and seeing those couches. I sit on the couch. I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice. See the price for what it is. I'm like, oh yeah, like this one must be it. And he said, yeah, you got the little back extended little recliner part. Those are just extra features that you pay for. And I'm like, extra features that I pay for? What you mean? Like, this price is not for all this? He's like, no, you got to add on. I'm like, why the fuck? Why the hell? Why do I have to pay for an extra added on feature for a couch that I see that already has it and it's a price right here? So it seems like a ripoff. Guy. Sorry. But he's like, no, his name's Richard. But I'm like, Richard. Like, I just don't understand. It's just wild to me to wrap my head around that features that you have to pay for extra for it to come with the couch is just wild to me. I definitely understand it for a car. Like, Tesla got the self-driving thing, but you have to pay extra for that, which is pretty cool. But I'm like, I just don't understand why a couch has to be that way. I think I talked about this before, but I just really don't understand why it's like this. Why a couch, you have to pay for the extra feature. I'm like, so this is just a rip-off price, because it's not really what it is unless I add it. And it's now back to the retail price plus extra because I want a certain feature towards my couch. That's why I'm not going to downplay Amazon. Like, I definitely want to get a nice couch, but Amazon got cool couches. I've been looking at them. I'm like, oh, wow. Go for a couch on Amazon. Is it going to last me? I mean, it's just me on the couch. I ain't jumping on it. So, yeah, it's going to last me a while. French toast? Like, what? It's just wild to me. Extra features on couches that you have to pay for. But that's that. And my last thing that I'm going to appreciate, fake plants. I appreciate fake plants because they still give the room what it's supposed to feel. I like the ones that are fake, but they don't look too fake. I do commend people who have the real plants. From when I lived, I'm not scarred, but seeing my friends, and it's true, they know that they struggle. But seeing my friends struggle with keeping up a real plant is a little bit tough for me to transition on to getting my own plants. I probably might get one or two very small ones, the kind of low maintenance ones. But when it comes to like big ones, they're definitely going to be fake. My future apartment is going to look great with all the fake plants in it. It's going to be great. Just got to like spray some water on there, wipe them off to get dust on there, and then it's boom, it's fine, it's perfect. There's no complaints when it comes to that. Like, it just works out the way how it needs to work out. Fake plants are really cool to have. Whoever thought, like, shout out to the creative people who did fake plants, because like, they come in handy. It's really cool. They still elevate your space. Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy to be back. I think I always say that. I'm excited. It's happy and excited. Those are my two favorite words to use, because I just don't want to let myself down on this. But I'm happy to be back and talking and podding. So yeah. Remember to rate, like, comment, and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can leave comments. You can DM me. I'm happy to share. That's also sharing your experience with me on email at imjustsharingpod@gmail.com. New platform is TikTok, so you can actually follow my page on TikTok. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be I'm Just Sharing Pod on my TikTok page. So look out for that. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shawanda. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.